There was a lot of speculation around Will and his true feelings towards Mike in Season 4 Volume 1 of the show, with many theories flying around that he is in fact in love with Mike. I thought I'd take a look and see if there were any definitive moments in the show that shone a light on the true feelings coming to fruition. So let's get into it. Here are the moments that prove Will is in love with Mike in Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. There were many moments in the show that had viewers watching, spotting, and guessing what certain reactions and actions from Will meant throughout Season 4 so far. One theory that has been flying around is that Will has feelings for Mike, and to be honest, there are a fair few points that support this. We saw in the first episode Will painting in his bedroom, and it was never really revealed what he was painting. The shot was being voiced over by Eleven, stating how Will had been acting slightly different to usual recently. The next time we saw the painting was at the start of episode 2, where he brought it to the airport with the intention of showing Mike what it was. They opened with some general catch-up dialogue. Mike asked what it was, Will mentioned how it was something that he was working on, and then Mike just responded with cool. We saw Will's reaction looking as though he was disappointed with the response that he got, likely due to the fact that he wanted to give it to Mike as a gift. We then also saw as they left the airport as a group, Will was walking in the background looking towards the ground, glancing over and clearly feeling like an outsider. The next time we saw them was when we picked up with them at the skate rink later on in the episode. The creators of the show set the shot up well to symbolize that there could potentially be a love triangle. They placed Eleven on the right and Will on the left, with Mike entering the shot and being in the middle of both of them, following a disagreement between the pair prior to his arrival. I think that this was done deliberately to show that there's a hold that Mike has over both of them. We also went on to see the three of them on the skate rink, where we had Eleven and Mike holding hands whilst Will was in the background skating on his own, ever so slightly behind. When you look closely enough, you could see him looking down at the pair's hands as they were interlocked, and he looked sad at the fact that he was back there on his own. We also got a shot that lingered on Will as his mood clearly dampened as he looked to the ground and appeared to have deep thoughts going on inside of his head. Thoughts of confliction, I imagine. There was a shot in episode 1 that I felt also supported this theory. There was a girl in his class who reached over to Will by putting her leg up against his to get his attention, and as he looked over nervously, he looked down towards the ground as if to ignore her and moved his leg away. In that first episode as well, we also saw him doing his school project, which was centered around doing a presentation on your hero. Although we didn't get to see him do his presentation to the class, we saw in small shots that he decided to do his presentation on Alan Turing, a pioneer in the computer science world who was gay. We witnessed other moments between Mike and Will in the show, such as in episode 3 where they were sat down for breakfast and Will was looking over at Mike, taking his feelings, wants and needs into consideration before answering Jonathan, and then once Mike got up, Will's mood and reaction then dropped again. We often saw Will's reactions to Mike's departure in scenes in the show, often to show us that all of these actions were impacting Will on a personal level. And even though Mike doesn't see it or anybody else in the show, we as the audience do. In episode 5, where we saw the group out in the desert, there was a moment where Will let his guard down. He was looking over at Mike as if he wasn't looking, and you could see the deep look he had in his eyes like he wanted to tell him something. Later on, when they were sitting on top of the car, Will stated in conversation about how sometimes it's scary to open up like that, and that it's hard to say how you really feel, especially to people you care about the most, because what if they don't like the truth? What he said was not spoken in relation to a conversation about how he felt about Mike, but you could see that he was picking his words carefully, and it was informing us of his true feelings for Mike. There are many moments in the show that subtly hint towards Will's true feelings, and the creators themselves have even said that in Volume 2, there will be answers around how he actually feels about Mike. So I would say, based on what we've seen in Volume 1, he really does care about Mike, and we'll have to wait and see how it's delivered in Volume 2 in July. So, there you have it. Moments that prove Will is in love with Mike in Stranger Things. Do you think he is? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.